How are you, my darling?
You are a busy woman, my
Oh
darling.
my God, I'm in Frankfurt. I was trying to adjust my room. I'm at the hotel now.
I've never seen a woman go so many places so fast and do
Oh,
so much.
don't tell me.
You look wonderful. You do.
Okay. Ready to start?
I'm ready.
Wonderful. Barbara Marx Hubbard, welcome to our serial of shows. And it's going to be a tour around the world with evolutionary ideas. And as always, we believe that women of your age always bring innovation and optimism and hope for the world. So when we decided together to bring these life lessons for the Global Women Show, you could imagine, you could see me how excited I was, because I really want to share a little bit of your wisdom with young women, and also the younger generation, but also women who are in the transition, but also women who are thinking that they are getting retired, but their job is done, or women that they think that they have done everything, and there is nothing to be done in the world anymore. So I think this is going to be so much fun and so much a big contribution for these people who are going to follow us. And let's make it big.
Yes, I think it's a wonderful idea, and I love Global Women. You know that.
I know, and we all, I don't know what have you done, but all global women, they are crazy about you.
Really?
Honestly, every time that we see a woman complaining about, oh, I am old now, I can't do this. Sometimes women are finding excuses. We just bring your unique, amazing case study. He said, you should meet Barbara Marx Hubbard, and then you'll see how much potential you have inside. You have no idea how many women you are inspiring around the world.
Oh, so thank you so much, because I'm very inspired by you and the women that I've met already. Thank you. Thank you very much for what you're all doing.
Thank you so much. So before we start, can you just, with simple words, describe as or give us a definition what evolutionary woman means to you?
The evolutionary woman is a woman in whom the impulse of universal creativity is being expressed through her. She feels that whatever created the entire universe, from single cell to multi-cell to animal to human, I call it the impulse of evolution, is in her. And it is uniquely in her. So if she tunes in to say, what is my unique gift? Where am I going with that creativity? It turns on the impulse inside you. And the evolutionary woman feels like that greater intelligence of universal creativity is in her, uniquely expressing as her life purpose. And she sees her life purpose. If you want to think of a kind of interesting analogy, before 50, women have eggs and they can produce the species. After 50, the woman is the egg. She has inside herself unique creativity. And so when she says yes to life purpose after 50, she's turning on a powerful inner creativity. And 50, 60, 70, 80, and I'm 88 now.
Wow.
And it's really true, because I said yes to that inner impulse of creativity inside of me. I have felt for a long while, but now even more so, I'm getting newer every day. Not older, not even just better, but newer. Now, why, if I'm an evolutionary woman, am I getting newer? Because evolution gets new every day. Evolution is what's evolving the world through you. And this is really it's another way of saying yes to God. If you say yes to the evolutionary impulse in you, it is the creative intention for you. Then you begin to be more clear of your unique goals. If you're an entrepreneur, what are you going to be creating? What is that inner impulse in you calling you toward? And I have developed a inner meditation where if I'm not sure what to do, I'll turn my attention to that inner impulse just for like a minute. And it will tell me what I call the compass of joy or the compass of stress. If the compass of joy is turning on inside me, it means I'm going yes with the impulse. If I feel stress, it's important. I stop, I breathe, I ask, which direction, how do I go, until I can get guidance from within. And I then take a step to do something. And if it feels right, the compass of joy turns back on. So the evolutionary woman has inner guidance that's more than just personal guidance. It's guidance of her greater purpose on earth, her greater possibility, and her genius code. And I like to use the word genius, being the unique creativity of the person. And when you turn your genius on, like you have, Mirela, to found Global Women, your genius is turned on. I can see everywhere you go, you feel more of it. And what happens
Barbara, how can we help more? Because I believe that the genius is inside every woman, inside everybody. But how can we tap into it? How can we allow the genius to come in us? And how can we allow the genius to express and to help us express ourselves? So yes, I totally agree with everything, and I love everything and the way you explain and describe everything. But how can we help more women to waken up and allow the genius to express everything good, everything great that they have inside?
Well, there's several things. One, it's very good to see examples. Because you might not believe it if you don't see examples. So that's you're providing so many examples. Secondly, it's a very deep inner knowing that when I ask for what is my highest purpose, it begins to unfold. And there's a very famous phrase, ask and it is given. Knock and doors are opened. So I ask every day and I write in my journal. So my mental mind says, well, I have this, I'm not sure what to do, blah, blah, blah. And then I have a way of saying, dearly beloved, what is the best way for me to go? In other words, I ask the deeper awareness inside myself. And I turn off my figuring it out mind, and I allow the inner impulse inside me, and I write without having to think too much. And after I've written a little bit, oh, I see that. Oh, I could try that. And I try it. Then I go back the next day to the journal. So my journal is my companion. And that is very important. Number one is a journal.
So keep a journal and to feel free to express ourselves and to share our thoughts and to ask. And also to
ask and listen.
And to listen, yes.
I mean, there's a deeper listening if you want to know your deeper life purpose. It's not superficial, it's deep. And evolutionary.
How do we get deeper and deeper? How do we go there? Because sometimes we feel scared to touch that zone. And it's courage, because it takes courage to know yourself and to trust yourself and to believe on what you're finding there and to manage properly what you find there.
Yes, it definitely is. So this journal writing is essential. All right, I ask, then I listen, and I'm tapping into my deeper knowing. Not only just my own personal deeper knowing, but why I'm here on earth, a sort of evolutionary impulse that happens to be me. And I have never seen anybody who doesn't discover what it is by asking, listening, writing, and the third part is sharing. Don't try to do this all alone. At least one other person that you can share. I have this impulse. This is the way I think I feel. I'm going to try this out. And through that sharing, it's very helpful if the other person then starts to share with you what their impulse is, and you begin to be companions on the road. You don't want to try
Do
this
we need to be careful with who we share? Because sometimes I always, have this concept of psychovampirism. When once we have a great idea, a great thing coming to our mind, and we are so excited, the first tendency is like we want to share it with somebody. But we also have to be careful with whom we share. If we share with somebody that is scared and subconsciously is turned into psychovampire with us saying, oh, it doesn't work, this is not good, you should not do this, other people have done it and they failed. And then we get scared and we go back and we don't try. So is it important to choose people with whom we share these selective, amazing ideas that we believe that can become like big ones?
It is, and the word I use for it is resonance. Is that you're absolutely right. You don't just share with anybody, I have this great idea and I want to go out and do it. It's much more intimate than that. It's more personal. Now, I like right now, I have a big idea. It's actually coming through me of what to do. And almost every day I'm at my own growing edge. That's because I'm an evolutionary woman. Every day new opportunities. For example, I've been invited to do a major program called Evolutionary Ambassadors. And the Evolutionary Ambassadors is people who would like to take 6 months with me so they go forth to be an ambassador of their evolutionary potential of the world.
That sounds great.
I have to introduce them to the best ideas I know. I have to share with them the leaders that I've met so that I would be training ambassadors. So one of the things they're going to have to learn is what is that deep inner impulse in them that they want to teach into the world or they want to create in the world. So it takes also, it's really great to have somebody who you trust, like they would trust you, they would trust me. So I'm very happy to respond to people who are asking in a way that helps them find it in themselves.
Yeah, because when we feel that safe zone and we trust the person that is listening to us and is also encouraging us to bring more out of our genius zone, then we can get surprised. We are surprised all the time with ourselves. And I can feel every time that I am surrounded by people like you, I just get surprised. It's like magic happens because I don't only get inspired, but I also feel that safe zone to bring out everything that has been scared inside me before.
Yes, you begin to be realizing your own potential when you're with those others. And of course, the Global Women attracts those kind of women because they're creators, they're entrepreneurs, they're interested in success, but not just any old success, a success toward the good, toward the creative, toward the beautiful.
With the fulfillment, yes.
And the fulfillment of their life, helping to fulfill the life of others. I mean, it's a very great thing because just to say evolutionary women, 50, 60, 70, 80 and beyond, because we're going to live longer and longer years and have fewer and fewer children around the world. We have to have fewer children. So that means that the energy that's gone into massive procreation is opening up for co-creation.
Exactly.
We didn't have that before.
So how this ambassador, evolutionary women that will serve as ambassadors, what is this concept about? Can you give us a little details about
the concept is, I'm doing with Humanities Team. It's a group here. And the ambassador that you are or I am, I'm carrying forth a message of not my country now, but my purpose for the world that I feel can help others in the world become more creative, more productive, more entrepreneurial. So I'm really a force for the good. my work in the world is to inspire others to be creative. And so an ambassador has to be creative, has to hold that, and then be able to communicate to others. And to be an ambassador for really for the potential of humanity at a time of crisis when a lot of the news is bad. You see, the news only tells you what doesn't work. If you watch CNN, CBS, ABC here in the United States, you get every single thing that doesn't work. Meanwhile, there's an enormous growing edge in health, education, economics, in governance, in all fields. So the ambassadors are going to learn what's working in the world. They're going to meet some of the leaders that are at the growing edge, like the Irvin Laszlo's and Richard Branson's and all of those people. We're going to introduce them to the ambassadors. So the ambassadors are really going to be ambassadors for the future of the world within themselves. It's a great idea. And it'll start in January, and it's going to be 6 months. And if anybody's interested, they should really let me know. And they could be global women ambassadors, really.
You have one already.
Okay.
I am sure women will love this concept because it's the time that we are feeling it. We are feeling that is our time, and having this opportunity to learn from women like you, it's we have to use this opportunity. I mean,
yes, this is
every day.
No, this is when I was realizing the importance of being a global ambassador myself. I began to feel this yesterday, and you know, the way nature creates jumps is by bringing separate parts together to make a greater whole. Single cells, multi-cells, animals, humans, and now us. So I'm going to explore within the global ambassador, evolutionary ambassadors, bringing leading people together, not only the women, but the leading people, to synergize their creativity, which is greater than the sum of the parts. Nature creates jumps through greater connectivity of what's created. So the global evolutionary ambassadors are going to help do that. And they're going to be astonishing leaders by the time they get finished with this.
What women need to know in order to become visionary leaders and evolutionary leaders?
I think women, first of all, need to have a deep heart's desire to express their own potential. They need to be motivated to be all that they can be. Now, not everybody is. So the evolutionary woman is excited by fulfilling her own potential in the world. Next, she has to have an understanding of what are the problems in the world and what are the existing solutions that are coming forward in the world, so that she becomes a guide to others. And then she has to have a deep inner let's say, communication with what she's best at. What are you really good at, you ask yourself? That when you do it, you feel fulfilled and you are fulfilling others. So there's an inner insight of your own highest abilities to say yes to. If you start to do something which isn't that, sometimes that happens to me. I'm trying to do something that isn't my greatest ability, and I can immediately feel it. And yes, I can do it, but it's not my greatest. So the evolutionary woman, or the global woman, the woman is always tuning into that inner impulse, which is the divine within herself. I mean, she is a carrier of the creative process. Exactly. And as she has had all the babies, now she's having herself and giving birth to the feminine co-creator, the evolutionary woman, that we haven't seen very many of in the world. So it's almost a new type of human is coming forward in the evolutionary woman.
And what would be your message before we close this, because we are going to do a serial of conversation together to go deep and deep and deep, and to work with women that really wants to grow, to develop and become more and contribute more in the world. Before we close this conversation, what would be your message for women who are watching this video, and for women who really want to embrace these concepts that you are talking about, and they want to evolve more and to evolve your concept of evolution?
Well, I would ask them all to ask inside yourself, what is your deepest impulse to create? And write it down. Start a journal. And then then you say to that impulse, tell me more of what I want to create. In other words, you have a dialogue with that inner impulse until it and you seem to be one, and you got the inner motivation, which is yes. Try that. Go that way. So it's a constant checking in and acting in the world. Check inside, act in the world, and share it with those you trust.
Barbara Marx Hubbard, you always have been and will be one kind of woman that serve humanity, and a great role model. And I'm so excited and very grateful that you have accepted to share your time, precious time, with the Global Woman serial evolutionary shows. And I can't wait for the next one next week to bring more and more women in the evolutionary journey.
Thank you so much for everything you're doing, and I look forward to our next interview.
Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. Bye from Frankfurt. And
yes, goodbye from Colorado.
See you soon.
Very good work to everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
In this night